The gunfire overnight outside the White House while President Trump was inside the executive mansion. Let's get the very latest now from ABC's senior White House correspondent, Selena Wang, who heard those shots fired. Selena, we all saw your video. Very, very scary. Glad you're safe. Good morning to you.
Thanks, Gio. Good morning to you, too. Yeah, it was a really scary night. I mean, I was getting ready to go live for World News Tonight right here from this exact camera position when I heard the shots ring out. We immediately ducked for cover, the team and I. Then we heard yelling from Secret Service for us to immediately evacuate to the press briefing room. We sprinted over there where we were locked down for more than 30 minutes. The president was at the White House while the shooting incident was unfolding. I'm told that the president has been briefed on the incident and he's doing fine.
Overnight, gunshots fired near the White House, multiple rounds ringing out. Law enforcement swarming to the scene, barricading off the surrounding area.
Let's go.
Medic 1, respond for a shooting at 17th Street and Pennsylvania Avenue Northwest.
The Secret Service telling ABC News a man approached a security checkpoint just outside the White House, took a gun out of a bag, and fired shots at officers. I was there preparing to go live when I heard a flurry of shots fired.
Close, only for the two sides to remain far apart.
The shots ringing out shortly after 6 p.m. My crew and I quickly ducking for cover.
We have to evacuate shooting.
We sprinted over to the press briefing room along with the rest of the reporters at the White House North Lawn. Officers firing back, killing the individual. Secret Service personnel were not injured, but a bystander was struck by gunfire. Officials say the suspect has a history of incidents involving the White House. He encountered law enforcement in June 2025 for blocking a point of entry at the White House. He was detained and involuntarily committed for a mental evaluation. 1 month later, he was arrested after he attempted to enter a White House checkpoint, telling officers he was Jesus Christ and that he wanted to get arrested. Court records showing a judge ordered he stay away from White House grounds. Trump was at the White House working in the Oval Office with his aides at the time of the shooting.
And early this morning, President Trump praised law enforcement and the Secret Service for their quick action at the scene. It was just weeks ago when we ducked and covered at the White House Correspondents' Dinner as we heard gunshots ringing out. Gio?
Yeah, you were there for both of those, and those videos truly show how terrifying this was. Selena Wang, thank you for your reporting. We are going to turn now to Southern California, where a toxic tank is on the path to spill or explode. Authorities are urgently trying to stop that tank from causing a disaster because it's filled with a toxic chemical. And ABC's Jacqueline Lee joins us right there from Cypress, California, in Orange County. Jacqueline, good morning.
Gio, good morning. Authorities are monitoring these tanks around the clock, deploying drones to check for temperature spikes and working with experts to try to prevent catastrophe. This morning, a race against time in Southern California as a large pressurized tank filled with a toxic chemical is at risk of imminent failure.
This is as real as it gets. It's the worst case scenario I've ever faced in my career.
The governor declaring a state of emergency. A tank located at a manufacturing plant called GKN Aerospace started leaking due to a broken valve. The tank is estimated to contain 7,000 gallons of methyl methacrylate, a highly volatile substance used in the production of plastic.
Feeling it could pose problems. It can irritate the respiratory tract, and repeat exposure can lead to organ or neurological damage.
The plant is located 35 miles from Los Angeles. At least 50,000 residents were forced to evacuate.
Police officers came into our area telling everyone to leave, and so, yeah, we all went, and it was kind of stressful because, like, where are we going to go?
This is the command center, and the key players here decided the evacuation zone needs to be roughly 10 square miles due to concerns of toxic fumes or a dangerous fireball. Fire and hazmat teams working around the clock to cool the tank on Saturday, putting their lives on the line to neutralize the chemical inside, all in an attempt to prevent an explosion. Authorities warning of another likely scenario. The tank could spill.
If we burn down a bunch of buildings and a bunch of homes, that's a disaster. But if we allow this to make it to the ocean and make it an ecological disaster, we don't want that as well.
So it's essentially one or the other?
It could be both.
Officials say they are preparing for the tank's imminent failure and urging residents to take this seriously.
Our goal is not to just save our communities, it's also to save our environment.
And as for a timeline as to when this tank could fail, authorities say they have no idea. There is simply no precedent for this, but they are working to try to find a solution. Rhiannon.
What a scary situation. Jacqueline Lee, thank you for that. Now to a possible breakthrough in the war against Iran. President Trump saying the U.S. and Tehran have a deal that's been largely negotiated. ABC's Alex Perche is in Washington with the latest on this. Good morning, Alex.
Good morning, Rhiannon. Yeah, President Trump says the deal to end the war will be announced soon. But here's the thing. He's packed a lot of caveats with this announcement. Trump says the deal has largely been negotiated, but it's not done. It still needs sign-off from all the parties involved.
Overnight, President Trump confidently declaring a peace deal with Iran will be announced shortly. Trump saying the agreement has been largely negotiated and remains subject to finalization by all parties. The president vows the deal will open the Strait of Hormuz. Trump made the announcement after a call with Gulf leaders and officials from Pakistan, Turkey, Egypt, and a separate call with Israel's Prime Minister Netanyahu.
There's been some progress done. Some progress made.
Iran's foreign ministry saying the two sides are in the final stages of drafting a framework that would give 30 to 60 days to hash out a broader agreement.
They want to settle so badly. We have the greatest military.
What's unclear is if this agreement includes a deal on uranium enrichment, missiles, or nuclear dust. It's been 2 months since Trump vowed to obliterate Iran's power plants within 48 hours if Iran didn't fully open the Strait of Hormuz. The strait is still closed and the cost is hitting home with gas prices soaring. But Trump insists that pain will be short-lived.
By the way, the oil prices are going to tumble as soon as I finish up with Iran.
But it's not just gas at the pump. Food and airfare are also surging because of the war. Some Americans forced to pull back plans for the big travel weekend.
I know a lot of individuals who are suffering tremendously under increases in pricing for food, for gas, for everything.
Well, and overnight, some big concerns over an Iran deal from Israel. A source familiar with the situation tells ABC News that there is serious concern and disappointment because Israel says it signals to Iran they can use the Strait of Hormuz as a weapon. Netanyahu is scheduled to hold a security meeting with his defense officials later today.
Now, so many different dynamics in all of this. Alex, thanks so much. Let's bring in ABC News Chief Washington correspondent Jonathan Karl, who will be hosting This Week later this morning. John, good morning to you. Great to see you. So President Trump says a deal with Iran has been largely negotiated. Still no official response from Tehran, but what are your sources telling you about how close a deal could be and what's actually included?
Well, it's not the first time that the president has said we're close to a deal. He said it over and over again and it hasn't come to fruition. But this does seem to be a genuine inflection point. My sources in the region say that a deal is very close. The only question is whether or not the Iranians sign on. The president did a call with our allies in the region yesterday, and they were largely encouraging him to approach this deal, to make this offer to the Iranians. Here's what it is, though, Whit. It is not an end to all the conflict in terms of how to approach the nuclear program. It opens the Strait of Hormuz. The Iranians stop blocking the strait. The U.S. lifts the naval blockade, and then it leaves a period of time, I'm told 30 to 60 days, to negotiate those issues that still have not been worked out about Iran's nuclear program.
Yeah, so still some critical discussions and phases ahead. John, I do want to turn to the proposed $1.8 billion fund for President Trump's political allies. It's very controversial, running into serious opposition, including from Senate Republicans. So what happens next with this?
Look, this was open revolt on Capitol Hill, particularly in the Senate. You had a meeting that Senator Ted Cruz described as one of the most contentious meetings that he had seen in all his time in Congress, where Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche went up to defend this fund in a private meeting with Senate Republicans. And according to Cruz, the senators, the Republicans, many of them were actually yelling, screaming at the acting attorney general, saying this was entirely inappropriate. What's next? Well, they've gone on recess. Congress needs to pass this this border security bill that Republicans can do solely on Republican votes. But that is now in doubt because there will be amendments offered to eviscerate this fund. And if those come up for a vote, you will see a lot of Republicans support it. So President Trump still calls it a top priority for him, but there is massive opposition among Republicans on Capitol Hill.
Okay, we'll see how it all plays out. John Karl, you'll have a busy show coming up later on this week. John interviews Representatives Tom Suozzi and Brian Fitzpatrick about their bipartisan bill to stop the DOJ's anti-weaponization fund. Gio?
Okay, we have breaking news overnight in the war in Ukraine. Russia confirming it used an extremely powerful hypersonic missile in its latest attack on Kyiv. And ABC's Lama Hassan is following this story now from London. Lama, good morning.
Yeah, that's right, Gio. Good morning to you. Just hours after the U.S. Embassy issued the urgent security alert warning of a potential massive air attack, Russia launching one of the heaviest overnight attacks from the air, sea and land, using hundreds of missiles and drones, including the powerful hypersonic Oreshnik ballistic missile, which is capable of carrying nuclear warheads. Russian President Vladimir Putin claims this type of missile is impossible to intercept. Kyiv's mayor Vitaly Klitschko saying the capital came under heavy attack and at least 4 people were killed and more than 100 others injured across the country. That number is expected to rise. And this comes after Putin was threatening to retaliate after accusing Ukraine of carrying out a deadly attack on a student dormitory in an occupied part of eastern Ukraine, killing 21 people. Ukraine denies hitting civilian infrastructure. Remember, it was just over a week ago Russia launched the largest sustained drone and missile attack since the war began, hitting energy, water and transport infrastructure as well as residential buildings. Putin had suggested the conflict was coming to an end. After last night's attack, Russia's war is far from over. Rhiannon?
Far from over. Lama Hassan, thank you for that. We're going to turn now to the tragic death of NASCAR champion Kyle Busch. His family revealing he died from severe pneumonia that then progressed into sepsis. Busch died on Thursday at the age of 41, just days before he was scheduled to race in today's Coca-Cola 600 in Charlotte. And to help us understand sepsis and how this could have happened, ABC News medical correspondent Dr. Darian Sutton joins us now. Dr. Sutton, thanks for being here. Let's talk about this because this was shocking. This is a seemingly healthy athlete, really.
An incredibly difficult story.
How did this progress so quickly?
Well, pneumonia is one of the most common conditions that we diagnose in the emergency room. Every year, nearly 1.5 million people are diagnosed with this. And Rhiannon, this is the most common reason patients are admitted to the hospital. To understand this, you have to understand that during pneumonia, the lungs can fill with fluid. That can interrupt the exchange of oxygen, leading to shortness of breath. And there are times where that infection can spread to the rest of the body and cause an overwhelming response. And we define that as sepsis. And while there are certain groups that are high at risk, older adults, those with a history of conditions like heart disease or diabetes, this can also happen, although uncommon, to healthy people. I've managed certain difficult cases such as this one.
I mean, 41 years old. And for us, I'm looking at that and saying, my gosh, this is basically our age. What are the signs and the symptoms to look for here?
Well, pneumonia infections can be caused by a variety of things. Some viral infections, for example, the flu, certain types of bacterial infections like walking pneumonia, or even fungal infections. Now, coughing is the most common symptom regardless of the cause, but if you notice some symptoms that are, for example, chest pain, tightness, coughing up blood, confusion, or worsening shortness of breath where you can't maintain sentences, those are signs that your pneumonia is progressing to an emergency and you need to seek out help.
And you talked about pneumonia, but this advanced to sepsis.
Yes.
So what specifically makes sepsis so dangerous?
This is a common question by patients and family members. So sepsis is during when an infection, which can be due to anything, with skin infections, urine infections, or even pneumonia, spreads to the body and causes an overwhelming response. Nearly 2 million people are diagnosed with sepsis every year, and more than 300,000 people die. The key here is understanding when an infection rapidly progresses. For example, during what you think is initially a urine infection, suddenly you have a fever and a fast heart rate, or a skin infection and suddenly it's spreading fast, or pneumonia and suddenly you can't speak full sentences. Those are signs that your infection is progressing beyond where it started, and that is when you need to get out help or get help as soon as possible.
So scary.
So scary, so sad. All right, Darian Sutton, thank you so much.
Of course.
All right, we're going to turn now to the holiday weekend travel situation. In spite of the weather in the east, experts are expecting a record-setting weekend. Meteorologist Danielle Breezy from our Nashville station WKRN is standing by with the forecast. But let's go ahead and start with ABC's Andrew Dimberg, who is here to talk the travel. Good morning, Andrew. It's busy.
Good morning, Gio. Millions of Americans are heading home this Memorial Day weekend. Roads and airports, of course, expected to be packed. AAA says a record-breaking 45 million people are traveling at least 50 miles from home for the holiday, with nearly 40 million driving to their destinations. At airports across the country, TSA expects to screen more than 18 million passengers through Wednesday. So far, only scattered delays and cancellations have been reported, but travelers are being urged to check their flight status before heading to the airport, especially with much of the country country now in the crosshairs of some nasty weather. And for drivers, the holiday getaway is costing more this year. The national average for a gallon of gas is now $4.50, the highest Memorial Day gas prices since 2022. Meanwhile, traffic analytics firm Inrix says that the heaviest congestion for the return trip is expected Monday afternoon, especially in major metro areas like New York, Boston, Denver, and Los Angeles. If you're hitting the road, experts say your best bet is to leave early in the morning to avoid the worst of the holiday gridlock. Rhiannon.
Always good advice to leave early. Thank you so much, Andrew. Let's bring in meteorologist Danielle Breezy. And Danielle, I feel like all hope is lost for us here in New York City weather-wise.
It's not looking good.
Hopefully the rest of the country's better.
Not looking good in a lot of spots, actually, Rhiannon. I want to show you this. This is Alvin, Texas, just south and east of Houston. You can see the creek flooded. Look at that house, getting very close to that. That area today is under a flood watch. And you can see also wet weather along the deep south. Some strong storms possible in the panhandle of Florida, and the northeast, unfortunately, stays soggy and cooler. It will be warm and dry, though, out in the west. Now, as we turn our attention to Memorial Day, the showers move out of the northeast by midday, so in the afternoon, it's salvageable. Not so much down to the south, where we're going to be seeing a lot of wet weather, and the Pacific Northwest starts to see rain. Now, for your traveling home on Tuesday, it is actually not looking bad weather-wise. Most of us actually starting to dry out and turning warmer in the north and east.